I'm so excited you're on.
I know, this is so exciting.
And also, let's be real. Like, you can't beat TikTok filters. There's none of that on my other.
Oh, right. I don't even have the filter on. I don't think I guess could put on a filter, could they?
Yeah, you can do whatever. Yeah, you can do the like filters if you want.
I'll just leave it.
You look fabulous. You look amazing in green, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Green is my favorite color. Isn't it yours?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. It is. Look at us go.
We're twinning. I don't have a crown on, so you know.
And that's all right. We got to get you one, I think. I don't know.
I don't know if I could pull off the crown. Like, your face fits the crown very well.
Thanks.
I don't know if my face would fit the crown very well. I don't know.
I think you would. I think you could rock the crown. You have the energy. It's more of an energy than it is the shape. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more about the energy. You got to have queenly energy, and that you have.
I think so.
You do.
I feel like I have so much to say.
I always have things to say.
I had a realization yesterday, and I thought it was so interesting. Maybe I should share.
You should share, but also go ahead and share, and then we can circle back. And I'm trying to get everybody in the room and all the good things.
Okay, so right, we should maybe wait a little bit.
Well, I haven't introduced you or anything.
Hello, Lindsay.
Hello, friends. Just don't forget what you were going to share.
Okay, I'll keep it in my mind.
Okay.
You will find it interesting, I think. Actually, I have two things I wanted to share that I think a bunch of people would find interesting.
Oh, I love interesting facts.
Yes. Let me keep it in my brain. It's two very relevant things. Also wanted your take on them.
Okay, so give me two keywords that'll help you remember, and I'll write them down. We can circle back to them.
One would be just write Bill.
Bill. Okay, that's funny. It's my grandpa's name. Okay.
Hello, Grandpa Bill. So write down Bill, and then the other one to make me remember would be spirit grabbers.
Ooh, yeah. I know where this conversation is going.
There's something interesting that I found that I think you would and everybody else would find very interesting. I'm going to talk to my students because I have my class after this, so I'm going to talk to them about it. This is very interesting.
Hi, Jen.
You guys share this live out.
Yeah, for sure. Tap the screen, share the line. This is the amazing Alyssa, the musical medium, which is awesome because I teach dance and like do musical things. And so we totally bond. And look, see what I have sitting here?
A purple pen.
I'm just saying.
There's definitely a purple vibe going on. Do you see my nails?
I did. And we could talk about that too. Because when I did I told you about when I channeled the Violet Queen, the name Portia had come up, and she's the feminine to Saint Germain, and that has the violet flame. So, and that was like 2 days after we practiced, or 3 days after we practiced.
Yes,
good morning, Kara.
Weird. Interesting, but weird.
It is. That's what we'll say. Interesting.
I love that word. I say it all the time. It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Interesting. Everything's interesting.
It is. So hello, everybody. Let's get tap the screen, share out the live. I only have Alyssa for like an hour and 10 more minutes. And then she has to go do the whole I teach classes thing. I love it. What class are you teaching today?
So I have my Blending with Spirit mediumship class where I'm teaching my students how to not blend with multiple spirits at the same time. How to understand that there's a way to pay attention to the energy so that you know when somebody new is coming in. Because I think you probably had it in the beginning, me too. I'm like, oh, Dad is here. And then Dad would switch to Grandpa. And I'm thinking I'm talking about Dad, but it's really Grandpa.
Yeah. Hi, Michelle.
So that's what the class is. And I'll be able, I think they're doing really well so far. They're really crushing it. They're really understanding how to, because you have to slow down. You can't just rush into it. You got to take your time.
I agreed. And it does. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. Like if you're opening yourself up to spirit, and I've actually had that happen. And then also understanding the difference that sometimes someone will come through and speak for another spirit, like to let them know that they're together. not speak for, but like that particular spirit is closer in my vibration. So they're going to speak for the next for the next person. Then I have to say like, okay, cool, let's switch. Like, I don't like them talking at the same time. I have had grandparents though come in and both of them be right here. I'm like, listen, one at a time. But they're so excited to be presented together.
Yeah, they just get ants in their pants, I think.
They do. Well, and they don't have a concept. They don't have time. You know what I mean? Like it's different, I guess. Their perspective is probably just very different. And if we can set those boundaries, be like, okay, one at a time, one at a time. But in those cases, I'm not really necessarily trying to blend with both, but I can hear them or I can sense both of them, and I'm getting like the messages, you know.
Like you're aware that they're both there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I have something really fascinating because I know you're very clairaudient because of the music connection.
Yes.
So I'm going to make a note because I have a funny story to tell you that we can share. It's not like super funny, but it's kind of entertaining actually. It's about clairaudient stuff. Morning. Wake up. Okay. Cool. All right, everybody. So those of you on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, we are live with my friend Alyssa. She's the musical medium. She's on TikTok. We're still working out the kinks on how to get all my guests to be like on all of them at once. But TikTok, you have to be on your phone. You can't be multi-streaming from your phone when it's like this. So I always have to choose. Good morning, Amy. So I'll be bouncing back and forth with all the platforms. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share out the live. And I see Rob's in the house. Hey, Rob. And hello, good morning to my mods. Appreciate you guys. This is Alyssa. She is the musical medium. And actually, full disclosure, like Alyssa at one point, I don't know why I'm saying full disclosure. It's not weird. Like, it's not like we're hiding some secret, but Alyssa had put out a video a few months ago and was like, hey, I need to practice. I need help and wanting someone who isn't starting from the beginning. And I was like, I need practice. So we've been practicing, like we've gotten together several times and practiced different styles, and spirit kind of surprises us. Neither one of us have a plan. We just show up and we're like, what are we learning today? You know, and you've brought through my pets. I brought you through your random relatives and stuff. Like, it's been kind of a fun deep dive, I think, and teaching us different ways to navigate maybe things that didn't go well in a reading before, or something that spirit knows that we need to work on. I think one time I was working on names. Was that me or you? I think it was me. I was working on names.
Yes.
So, you know, working on names, working on just understanding different ways to, oh yeah, that one time spirit was like, had me connect in a whole different way. Do you remember that? And I was like, what is this? This is bizarre, but it was coming through. The messages were coming through. So it's always nice to have someone. So note, if you guys are learning, find a friend to practice with, because it has been invaluable. And I tell my students, I've got like a little Facebook group that's just my development students. And I'll tell them, please practice with each other. I'm not a teacher. I'm sure you aren't this type of teacher either, that says, no, you cannot practice without me.
Oh no, my students, I encourage them to have their WhatsApp groups, and they create a WhatsApp group and they all practice with each other. So I agree with you on that. I feel it's helpful for them, and it's going to help them grow even outside of the class, and they need that. And also with this kind of work, you need a support group. You really do. You need people to practice with. You can't just go to most people and be like, you want to practice mediumship? They're not doing that.
Right. I mean, That's true. You can, well, I don't know, maybe the lady at the grocery store would be like, hey, do you want to practice mediumship? I don't know.
I know those kinds of teachers exist, and I never want to be one like that. And even my students that, you know, maybe they move on and they do something else. At least they encountered me, I've helped them with something, and they made friends, and they have their group, and that's it. Right. And also understanding, like, I'm not going to be their only teacher, nor do I want to be their only teacher.
You know, I want them to have other teachers. And sometimes just working spirit is our number one teacher. Let me turn this up.
We all have multiple teachers. I've had multiple teachers, multiple spirit schools I went to. You just kind of figure it out. And I've had people where I'm like, oh, they were good for this period of time for this one thing. I've learned this one thing. Now I can find somebody else who can help me with this other thing that the other person doesn't know about or can't teach me. Oh, I feel like I want to get into what I was going to talk about.
Go right ahead. So we've done the intros, but you know, what are you sipping on anything? I got my Celsius.
I have coffee with my Al Capone cup.
Okay, that's funny.
Oh, this is actually a really good story. The Al Capone, really quick. The Al Capone cups. I went to the Eastern State Penitentiary. I'm sure you're familiar in Philadelphia. The vibes there were very interesting because, of course, you know, spirits are around. And I was sitting in one of Al Capone's rooms, and I heard the name of somebody. And one of the workers there, I forget the name. It's going to drive me crazy. I have to ask my friend who came with me. And I said, I keep hearing the name, whatever it was. And she goes, well, that's weird because that's the name we give our piano. So they named their piano that plays by itself. And I picked up on the name and she was like, oh, well, that's odd.
But then you're like, but is it?
No, I definitely was trying to connect to Al Capone himself.
Yeah.
I was just curious. We were there. And then this other woman across from me, I think it was her grandpa in spirit. And I think she was hoping to hear from her grandpa, but I was busy focusing on Al Capone. So
I would have too. I would have been too.
I was so interested. So anyways, that's a story about that. Isn't that so interesting?
So interesting. I love that. And plus the fact that you're, you know, a musical medium. Let's just throw that in.
Yeah.
That makes it more interesting. There was the piano.
It makes sense that happened that way with the musical stuff.
Right. Well, and everybody else is like, oh, that's so weird. You're like, nah, it's just a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just a regular day for me. It's not weird.
Huh?
It's not weird at all.
Weird. It's totally, it feels like, honestly, at this point, it feels like driving a car. Don't you agree with that? Like, it just feels like you're getting in the car after a long vacation and you're driving and your body remembers how to drive and you can do it every time. Yep.
Yeah. And that is true. After you've done it for so long, it is easy just to be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to open this channel. Here they come. I'm going to do, you know, yeah, I agree. All right. So tell your story. Do you want to tell Bill or Spirit Grabbers first?
Bill.
Okay. Tell me, talk to me.
It's heavy in my brain. I want to get your thoughts on this and maybe other mediums can tell us what they think too. Right?
While she's talking, tap the screen, friends. Tap the screen.
Hi, Alice. Some of my students are in here.
Yay. Good.
Alice, Sydney, Aaliyah. Thank you guys for coming. And hello, Rob. I know Rob too. So anyways, thanks for being here. So the Bill thing, I have an Uncle Bill who is now passed.
Okay.
So get this. One of my students, she was already advanced. She was crushing it. I mean, exact ages, names, core memories, not even just the strict hard facts, the evidence. She was getting just everything all at the same time and just it happened really quickly, which I'm really proud of her. I don't know what she's doing now, but she's doing great probably. So anyway, she's connecting to, I tried to find one of my clients to be a sitter. So we set up a Zoom call and I was like, listen, I don't want you to practice on me. I want you to practice on this person you never met. So lovely Elizabeth, one of my good clients, she was like, I'll be a sitter. So we're sitting there and she's like picking up on my father. That's my dad's brother who passed.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, can you try to connect to Elizabeth? And here I am not listening. And she's like, I can't. Your loved ones keep coming through. So get this. She's like, okay, I have your uncle here. His name is Bill. He was exactly 76 when he passed. And she's describing how he looks, his personality, his whole facial features and expressions. And I'm going, well, my uncle's still living. So maybe you're picking up on him because he's still living or something. And in my head, the light bulb clicked, something must not be right. And I had a feeling about him. My sister and I had a feeling about him for the past 2 weeks at that point. I said, I think we need to call Uncle Bill. I think something's wrong. And she agreed with me. I said, I think he's just not well. We're not close to that side of the family. So we didn't know for sure, but something felt wrong. Here I am not listening, trying to help my student practice.
Right.
So she carries on. I'm like, I need to make a phone call after this reading because she couldn't even connect to Elizabeth's people. And I was like, okay, well, maybe spirit needs me to know something. So I'm like, yeah, maybe it just happened. Maybe she just connected to me because my people are loud, as you know.
Yeah, they are.
They are very loud in here. And I'm like, is Uncle Bill dead? Like, what's going on? So Uncle Bill's not dead, but nobody communicates this, what's going on. He was apparently very sick at the time, and I don't even think he was able to communicate verbally. So a week later, he dies. And I posted something about it, and I saw there's another medium, Nicole. I don't know if you know her. Medium Nicole might be her name. She had a similar experience where her mother's aunt came into her yard, and she told her mom, like, I see Aunt Debbie here, whatever her name was. And the mom goes, well, Aunt Debbie's still living. And she goes, I just saw your Aunt Debbie in the yard when I was in the yard. She said the same thing happened. Aunt Debbie died a week later. So we were trying to figure out, are they coming to visit us before their soul fully departs? Because normally, as we're taught in school, is, you're going to connect to them only if they're passed. And I'm like,
no.
I think, when they have dementia, or they're out of it, or they're very ill and they can't speak, we can communicate with them.
We can. Well, and also it's not always just their specific little spark of a soul. So doing the QHHT and working with higher self, that's a whole other animal. And you can, just like in the living, like people have dreams where they have their friends who are alive come to them and they have the same dreams. Like you can communicate with people that are not dead. You're just communicating to their higher self, their soul. It's all the same. It's all connected. But
right.
But especially if that soul knows, okay, time's ticking. I got 7 days. This person needs a lesson. This person needs to know. Let's give them a heads up. Then they're going to give that. I feel like that's spirit just coming in, intervening, giving a little heads up so we can all have it on the radar. And then, but the person themselves has no idea that that's what's happening necessarily,
How interesting is that? We've all experienced
very
this.
interesting.
Like, next time that happens, I'm going to be like, okay, we need to buckle up because this person, and I don't know about you, but normally before people pass away in my life, I dream of them. I just start thinking of them a lot and I worry for them. And I'm like, I think something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you have an experience where you just know and you're like, you just have that eerie, bad, I call it the death feeling. I just know and I can feel like someone's going to die.
Yeah. I don't. And I'll tell you why. Because if I knew those were the things happening and that's what was coming in, I would, I don't know that I could emotionally handle that. So I have a deal with spirit that don't show me or give me, that's a good look for you. Yeah. Unless I can do something, unless I am supposed to intervene and prevent it, don't tell me. Let me live my human experience. Let me be just like everybody else, unless I can stop it. And I've had it happen twice where I've gotten a vision and like overwhelming, like you need to say something. You need to put it on them. They've got to do something about it, but put it on them. You have to get this out because you now know. And that's the deal that I have. And the first time it happened, the person that I told was like, no. And then, but she kept it in the back of her mind. And she did have a situation arise. And she was like, oh, I need to get my act together. Second person, I'm digging. I know. Thank you, friends. Hold on. Before I finish that sentence, I'm going to do something real quick. I forgot.
I know people are commenting.
There we go.
Allie said, how do you deal with knowing? Because you said you have your agreement where you don't want to know. I tell them to tell me. I want to know.
See, and I have too many other things that my brain would obsess over it. I don't know that I'd want to. I just don't think I don't want to know.
No, that makes sense.
Unless it's preventable. And the only other time it happened was a client. Oh gosh, this was years ago. I was still early in my journey. And this client was in a very abusive situation. And it was that same feeling. And it almost puts me in a different dimension. That's how much I feel that urgency to say something.
Right.
And I got that with her, and I was like, and all of a sudden my mouth is saying, get out, you need to get out. He's going to you. And I don't do that. Like ethically, I don't do that, but it was coming out and I couldn't stop it. And I saw exactly what he was going to do and how it was going to go. And I said, you have a choice. The only reason I'm seeing this is because you have a choice. It's not inevitable. I told her, I said, I have an agreement that not to see this unless I can offer an opportunity for you to make change. 2 years later, I'm talking to a friend. She goes, yeah, I just got back from a funeral. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. She goes, oh, you read for her. He did it exactly how I saw it. And they deemed it self-inflicted.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And he ended up with her kids.
Oh my God. Oh,
And I'm like,
that's the hard part.
so now you understand why I just don't. That was so early in my development too.
And here's the hard part, because they're in love, they don't listen. A lot of the time they just don't listen. And I know you work very ethically, and I'm the same way, but that kind of stuff just flies right out. You can't control it because they need to know.
Yes. Well, and the thing is, she was telling me, she was saying, well, things are rocky. I know I need to get out. She wasn't saying like exactly what was happening. She wasn't saying he was physical. She was just like, I know I need to get out. I don't know if I can be out on my own. I'm like, well, it won't matter. It won't matter because, and I kept saying, get your kids out. This is not going to end well, and yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know you just do what you can.
Yeah.
And you have to listen.
Spirit reached out to me. Oh my gosh. Looks
like people are having similar experiences.
Yeah.
My husband. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy was kind of crazy. And then, yeah, exactly. Because I asked my friend, I'm like, I don't know if I want to ask this or not, but please, what happened? And it was exactly, and I had it recorded. So I literally could have, I wasn't in it for the cloud, but like, if anybody were to be like, did you predict that? Yes. Do you want to see?
Oh my God.
And
I think people, they're in love. They want to see the good in people. They don't think it could ever be them. A lot of my readings, I get that. I'm like, this wasn't self-inflicted. I've done a ton of them where they were unalived by their significant others.
Yeah.
And they made it look like accidents. And their moms, their dads, or even, siblings would come to me and I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is not an accident.
Hi, Hermie. Right.
And then a lot of times there's nothing they can do. A lot of times there's not enough evidence. People literally get away with it all the time.
All the time.
And a lot of times it's their significant others.
Yeah. Yeah. Or someone very, very close to them. Yes.
Yeah. It's very rarely like, oh, this is just a stranger on the street. I mean, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually had, a couple of times in the past, I've had people approach and be like, would you want to do that kind of work? And I'm like, I think I am not emotionally stable enough. And having come from the background that I come from, no.
In terms of you helping with
cold cases, things like that. I don't think I could, at least not my jam.
Really? I love doing that. I've done a couple of them.
Yeah, and I know people who are really good, like they're really good at it. But I just feel like there's too much pressure to, what if I get it wrong? What if and then there's also just the fact that when I tap into those kind of situations, I see what happens. And I don't know that I want that, you know what I mean? Like, again, that'd have to be like super hardcore boundaries. I think I have enough things to keep me busy. I don't need to take anything else on. We'll let the people who are really good at it do it.
I've done a couple of them. I've done a couple of missing persons and cold case things like that.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the whole situation like with the whole Sylvia Brown downfall when she predicted. Do you know about that? how
I
that
know.
all played
And
out.
she said that the girl went missing, and people
She's like,
are
oh,
still
honey,
getting
she's,
that years later.
I know.
She's a phony. She's a fraud. And I think people have a big misconception. I only know a little bit about Sylvia. I've never met her or anything like that, or have interacted with her. But I feel that people are so unaware. They think we're spirit machines. They think we're 100% accurate about everything
All the time.
all the time. And that's not true. I'm sure I've been wrong about a prediction. I'm very careful about my predictions. Probably more so early on. I'm honest about that. Where, I tell people, this looks like it could go this way, but we have free will.
Right. But I think but see, here's the thing. You and I are trained well enough to not just be like, this is my prediction. This is what I did. This is happening. I mean, clearly her daughter was not. This goes back to talking about Bill. This goes like still in that same vein. Her daughter, this woman's daughter, was still alive. And what Sylvia was getting was like, oh, no, honey, she's standing right behind you. She's gone. She's on the other side. So how I would have taken that was, here's the thing. I don't see her in the same state she is when you saw her. And that's true. The girl had been kidnapped. She'd been broken. She was no longer that same person. That person, that was no longer there. But who came to Sylvia? Probably her higher self. Because as we just discussed, people that are alive can still come through in a reading. How is that? How does their spirit come through? So was Sylvia wrong, or was she just not understanding the discernment between you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
It's just so interesting because this whole kind of thing is unfolding now for me. So with that situation, but I had a situation where I'm a part of Soul Journey Sundays. I don't know if you're familiar with them. So it's a group of mediums and psychics, and I joined there because I wanted to do like a charity thing, because you can either take the money or donate it. So I'm just going to go and donate, and basically I read for like an hour and a half for whoever is on their Zoom live kind of thing. So I wanted to do it as like my way of giving back. But anyway, I had to practice on the woman who runs it first. She wanted to see how I read. Rightfully so, right? You want to make sure that I know what I'm doing and, how my flow is and so on and so forth. So she was wonderful. But here's the weirdest part of this whole thing. She told me to do psychic. So I was like, okay, let me do psychic. So I did a psychic reading for her. Then I said, okay, I want to do a little mediumship. So I did a little mediumship, or what I thought was, I picked up on her dad. Anyways, I don't want to say much more. It's private.
I get it.
Yeah. Anyway, how do I word this? I feel like I said too much. Okay.
That's all right. We'll just pretend it never happened.
Okay. So anyways.
Insert musical interlude.
My point is, they were not passed.
Right. And that happens. You pick up on, but also
But no, here's the weirdest part. They said multiple people have done that. Multiple people that have just been there, like me joining, or multiple people that have just in general read for her period, have picked up on this person who is not passed. And I was like, what?
I'm telling you, there's some merit to whether it's a higher self vibration.
That's what they were saying. I think they're going to teach that too. So they're saying, well, there's a higher self. They were explaining it to me. There's like a higher self thing. I was like, what? Yeah.
And if you've got it again with the QHHT stuff, like how we talk about it is like, yeah, you've got your higher, like I'm here, I'm this much of my higher soul. So if my higher self knows something's coming up, then maybe it does astral project the image to someone else in a form that they know, which would be me. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, then there's telepathy. Yeah, there's so many layers to this that honestly, I don't think we're going to ever understand until we're on the other side and we're like, yeah, I get it. I see how this goes.
I was like, what do you mean? I was like, everybody that comes here gets the same thing? They're like, yeah. It's like, that's so weird. Okay. But apparently, we'd probably be here all day, but there was a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just don't want to say anything else because
I know.
It's private.
It's a private reading.
went off on too much of a tangent, so we'll just leave that there.
It happens. All right. So you had another spirit grabbers. You had another talking point.
Yeah. So if you edit this, you could probably edit that out because I just nearly forgot.
It's fine.
It was an accident. Okay. So spirit grabbers. Here's what's interesting. When I do live events, right?
Mhm.
People are not. So let's say what spirit grabbers are first. Spirit grabbers are people that will take who you're pulling through, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what, they'll take whoever you pull through, even when none of it makes sense or half of it makes sense. That's what a spirit grabber is. And I know we all want to talk to our loved ones, but it's important that when a medium's doing a demonstration, whether it's on here, on live, online, or in person, you're only raising your hand when it's your person.
Right.
So what I find to be interesting is that when I'm doing shows and I'm demonstrating in person, I don't have that problem. People only raise their hands and say yes when without a doubt it is their person for sure.
Mhm.
Nobody, it's not like 5 people are raising their hands, like one person's raising their hands because it all makes sense to them. But when I go on TikTok, a bunch of people are spirit grabbing all of the time. And I tell people, if I pull you up, it's basically going to waste time. And it happens a lot on TikTok. For the most part, I'm waiting. But people, you pull them up, you're like, okay, does all of that make sense? Well, no, you're like 20 years off with the age. And yeah, they pass of this and not that. And I'm like, well, then this can't be for you. I said, listen, we're not perfect. I said, unless I'm just way off, but there has to be significance to everything I've said. There has to be accurate with everything I've said. And they just claim it. And I don't understand why they do that. Because you're so clear. And as you know, like when I'm demonstrating, I don't know about you, I'm so passionate about this. When I'm demonstrating, pretty much everything that comes out of my mouth is accurate. There's a woman here, she passed in her 20s, she's your sister.
Yep.
Like, why are people making it fit? I know people are desperate, but it's not fair when you're wasting everybody's time when the medium's pulling a bunch of people up, we're trying to figure out who it is.
Right. Yeah, Ermi's on it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah.
You hear it immediately. I tell people, once I pull you up, you're going to start saying no to things, and I'm going to hear your voice is going to make me understand that this is not for you. Correct.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. So whether it's live, TikTok, no matter what it is, if we're not sure, if I hear your voice, that's like the triangle. It's you, me, and spirit. The second I hear your voice, I'm going to be like, nope, get out. Was not you. But you know what's crazy? It's usually the up and coming mediums that want to be mediums that will do it. I've had that a few times that will come in the box because they're like, oh, let's, and then they can't take any of it. They're trying to make it fit. I've had that happen a few times.
He's like 40 years older than what you said. And he's not my brother. He's my dad.
Right. And he didn't have a 57 Chevy. He just liked cars.
Yeah. Like none of it fits.
None of it.
But it's so interesting that in person, I'm sure everybody wants to hear from their loved ones just as badly. But they don't raise their hands unless it's for them.
Right.
It's so much easier because immediately, and I know we do the reading and I know it's for them, but on here it's like, that's my dad. It's like, I said grandpa. Nobody.
Right. Well, the dad might have been a grandpa. Antonia says, or the people that continue to try and grab even after the sitter's found. That is true too. So especially like on live TikTok, it's TikTok. It's literally just TikTok that happens. Because in real person, in like Camp Chesterfield, don't have like people in a crowd. You don't get that. Like, I think that might be mine. No, but this, they'll do it on TikTok. Be like, I think that's my grandmother. I think it's mine, and they'll keep dumping evidence. I'm like, listen, I hope all my scammers come for you. Keep dumping that evidence. Keep it up.
No, seriously.
I know.
I told them, don't write personal details in the chat. We had a reading. I went live with my friend Gia. I don't know if you know Gia. She's another medium. I'm doing an event with her on May 10th. And we were like, let's go live together. We had the most beautiful readings. I don't know if you were there, but the readings were just so beautiful. And we were able to double link, and it was really great. We had like a good back and forth energy going really quick. So, because I don't work with other mediums to do readings that often. So anyway, long story short, we had someone's dad. We pulled that person up. It was all fitting. Everything that came out of our mouths was a yes. We had somebody in the comments going, that's my dad. And then when things weren't fitting, they were saying, no, that doesn't make sense. Yes, that does make sense. And I stopped for a second. I said, I'm so sorry, my love. This reading is not for you.
It's not for you. Like, stop commenting.
They were taking the reading, and I was just like, and of course I want to be respectful. I know there's so many people grieving and stuff.
Right.
It's just, in my opinion, and if people take it the wrong way, take it the wrong way. It's rude.
Yeah.
This person is trying to get a reading. This person, we have them in the box. We're trying to connect with them, and you're just making it seem like it's not their person. I think it's rude to us as the medium, but also the sitter who's trying to get the reading.
Agreed. Let that sitter have their moment. And I tell people all the time, you might be identifying with that spirit. It's probably a postcard. Yes, your loved one is here, is giving you this message, but this is not a direct message for you from the spirit that I'm connecting to. Your loved one has lined you up here to make you go, oh my gosh, I think that could be my grandpa. But you know what? Keep that to yourself. Unless I say, you know what, person in the box, I don't think this is for you, but it might be for so-and-so. I mean, literally. And this is where I say to people, you have to trust the communicator. You have to trust, if you're your baby. If you're trusting me enough with the reading, then trust me when I tell you this is not your grandfather.
Yes.
Trust me when I choose the right sitter. If you're going to trust me with the reading, trust me all around. Don't just be like, well, I really want a reading from you, but I don't trust your discernment.
Absolutely. Like to think, okay, we're so way off. I had that happen yesterday. I was in between two people, and I was like, I think I might be with this person, but I'm going to just pull them up to see, because they were both taking everything. So I was like, all right, let me pull this person up, and if it's the right fit, great. If not, I'll take them down.
Right.
I pulled through this person who was way younger than what they said. And they were like, well, the age is like 25 years off. And I was like, unless I'm way off, there's just no way. And I said, okay, let me give you one more thing. Immediately they said no. And I was like, I'm sorry, this can't be for you, because there's no way I'm getting this information and it's wrong. Because we know how to communicate. We've both been doing this long enough. I'm not getting this out of nowhere where I'm wrong. We're not newbies.
Right.
No offense to newbies. Newbies make mistakes more than
you and I've had our moments. We've had our moments.
Not perfect, but when you're on and you're just like on ready to go, and you're in a group, spirit's loud. I tell my students that they are freaking loud and clear. You're hearing it like I was 45. I was in my 40s. I had a heart attack. My name is Bob. Like it's just
it's there.
Like, I just think it's just sad. And or I had somebody yell in the comments once. They were like freaking out. They were like, oh my God, that's my grandma. I don't understand. You have the wrong person. That's my grandma. And I'm like,
yeah, no. See, now for me, I'm like, my mods know that if that's happening, they're blocked. You don't get to come in and hijack someone else's reading. It's like walking into a room and screaming at somebody that's at the buffet and going, who's waiting for their slice of roast beef. And they're like, that's my roast beef. You can't do that.
Well, you know what the problem is? I saw this happen once and it made me so mad. Ermi agrees. Hi, Ermi. Hi, Cindy.
Give them fries.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. Yes, he commented. It was a funny comment. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I saw a medium, and I think people don't understand what mediumship is. That's another problem and another story for another time, maybe. I don't know if you saw this person. I couldn't believe my eyes. And it makes me so angry to be a medium professionally when I see this. They were doing a collective mediumship reading on a live stream saying, I have grandpa here. Never found their sitter, just said it was everybody's grandpa. It was all 500 people in the live, it was their grandfather. And a bunch of people were saying yes. And I said, do these people understand that this is not their grandfather, all 500?
They don't. They don't.
And did you see on TikTok as well? People are posting videos saying it's a collective reading from your dad or a father figure. And there's millions of views because all 1 million people think that this is their dad.
Wow.
There's nothing entirely, I don't know if you saw those. There's nothing even entirely specific.
I haven't seen those. I probably don't.
It could fit me, it could fit you, it could fit
anybody. Wow.
What do you think about that? I think it's bullshit.
I think it is bullshit. Absolutely. I think it's wrong. It's unethical. And it's terrible because if you can't give evidence of a specific person, then you're not pulling anybody's dad in. Like that's not mediumship.
Collective mediumship. I said, where do these people come from? They have no development. They go into the wild. They wing it.
Yep.
And they harm so many
That
people.
yes, that's more harm
It's
than good.
disgusting.
And the whole idea, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the whole point of mediumship as a practice is to give spirit a voice, is to connect and heal with a sitter. And you can't do that as a collective with your dads are here.
Can you imagine me going to a show or you going to a show and going, I have everybody's dads here? Like what?
You know what? I'm trying it. I'm going to try it and see if it fits and see if everybody in the audience has a deceased father.
Everybody, you know, it's funny. I have to tell you this, and I'll ask you what your experience is.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, both, you know, my dad's passed. I go to these shows. I get moms, I get dads, I get brothers, and, you know, wives and husbands or whatever. I get a lot of dads. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for the dads, but I'm always wondering for my in-person shows, is it just because everybody's there for their dad? Like most of those people, and I'll go around the room and do a little chat after. A lot of those people, they're just there for their dad. And I don't know these people most of the people I don't know that are coming to these shows. And like 90% of them, it's just their dad they want to talk to. Once in a while, it's grandparents and uncles and aunts and stuff. But don't you find that interesting?
I do.
Do you feel like spirit is leading all of these people that are they just want to talk to their dad to me?
Yes. I think that spirit is extremely intelligent and will encourage and free the calendars and do all the things to bring certain people together for a commonality. Do I think that millions of people on a collective TikTok are getting that same message from said one dad? No. But in your case, you're like, okay, but your dad, and then and then your dad, and then it becomes, oh, this is Dad's Day. Yeah, I do feel like spirit will align certain people. And also think about this too. If you think it from a frequency perspective, all these people are in the same frequency in the way of missing their dad, setting the intention. You happen to be the vehicle to make you're the magnet, right?
Yeah.
So all people in that same frequency are going to be aligned with one another. It's like my whole thing about vibe check. I've got people that I should block, but I don't, because if they're popping up, then I know I need to change my vibe, because that means I've lowered my vibration. I don't want to be in their vibration. If they see me and like, oh my God, hey girl, hey, I'd be like, ooh, change that station. Then I'm changing my station, raising my vibration. It's the same thing. So if you have a whole collective people missing their dad or needing to connect to their dad, they're in that same frequency. So it's weird, but to me, it's also science.
Yeah,
it's a
makes
frequency
sense because of my relationship with my dad, and I do this for him. So ever since he passed, I was like, I'm going hard in the mediumship just for you, and it's also my way of honoring him. Oh, thank you, Ernie.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Like you've done the work. You understand the grieving process. So yes, people and you. So you also are in the same frequency with the people that are missing their dad. So it does absolutely make sense to me.
It's like spirit is telling them, come to her show. You know, even I'm walking around the room, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just here for my dad. I'm like, this is so funny. Like my dad and other people's dads, they're all chilling on the other side, coordinating this.
Right. How often do you do in-person shows or in-person things?
At this point, once a month. Probably gonna ramp it up to twice a month because I'm getting a lot of inquiries lately, which is really exciting.
Nice. I need to do more. Like my issue is having the dance studio and then teaching 4 nights a week. So my availability is so ridiculous. I don't have time.
How many do you do?
But I hardly ever, like I'll do once a month, I'll do Camp Chesterfield. And then I did my show back in October. I just don't. And then I was on platform twice in one day this past weekend. Oh, that's a whole other deep dive right there.
Camp Chesterfield.
Camp Chesterfield.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay.
I have to hold on. How do I do this? Is that good? Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. So yeah, I was on platform twice this weekend. I'll tell the story when Alyssa gets back. Like immediately catch them. Oh, that's funny. And I do teach mediumship twice a month. So shameless plug. Thank you, Yessie, for reminding me. I do teach mediumship twice a month. My next class is next Tuesday. I think so. Hi, Rebecca. Courtney, I'm here. I hear you. Michelle's supposed to, she's like, I'm supposed to be working. That's all right. You don't need to work anyway. It's fine. It's fine. Just work with me in the background. But I love teaching my development classes on my twice a month. You're welcome, Alicia. So I was like trying to read everything. Mediumship is a teachable gift. Like everybody's capable of it. It's just a matter of being able to learn it and have a teacher that can teach you, can meet you where you are. Okay. And teach you how to do things based on your natural, like how you connect. Hi, Trish. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen you in so long. Thank you, Ermi. I appreciate that. Girl, so are you. And also colleagues. Ermi's in here. Like, make sure you give a wave so people can follow you guys.
Yes. To everybody. Everybody was asking if we're doing a reading today.
I'm open to it. But first I want to talk about my situation this weekend. I don't think did I tell you about this? How I was in Camp Chesterfield, did platform mediumship there. Readings were fire. Literally, like dragon came in and actually ended up being a spirit guide that someone actually connects to. But I was like, I don't know if this is a dragon or if I'm having a hot flash. Could be both. Like I had sweat stash. I'm like, oh my God. So you could see the physical change in how this spirit was stepping in. And it actually was one of the ushers was like, oh yeah. And she's a developing medium. I had no idea it was her. Wow. It was her spirit, one of her guides. And so that was fun. But then that night I went to another spiritualist church that I didn't even know exist, but they had like a little, there were 3 Camp Chesterfield mediums and then me, just me. Like they're all certified. They're fantastic readers, born and raised on doing platform. And I go second. I get up there. I have no idea about this church. I was like, I've never even heard of this place. Okay, cool. It's a little place out in the middle of nowhere in Indiana. And turns out it's fairly new, like brand new. And Camp Chesterfield mediums have been coming in and trying to help them build their following and do message work. And because now, like platform mediumship is very different than like regular connecting mediumship. It's you get up, you identify the spirit. You don't keep going on and on about the evidence of who they are. You're like, cool, I've got your grandmother here. It's no question. It's right. I've got grandmother. This is her name. This is what she has to say. And this is what her advice is. Bam, in and out.
Oh, in person? Absolutely. It's so fast.
All you do. And you don't.
I go boom, 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 boom. The energy is on fire.
I love it. I love it.
Like, that's dad. There's mom. It's your grandma. It's just like so.
Right. So I am. And that's how for 5 years I've been trained. Like that's what my mentors trained me to do. I get up there, the first 2 or 3, like there were 3 out of the 5 messages that I gave. Crickets. I'm sharing the stage with 3 very like amazing mediums that I really respect, but I'm not like I've read with them before. I've worked with them on platform before. I've been in classes with them. It wasn't even an intimidate. I had just read at Camp Chesterfield. I was like, "Ooh, I'm on fire today. Okay, let's go, spirit. What are we doing today?" Not in a, "Oh my God, look at me." It's more of a, "All right, spirit, let's bring some messages. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this." Crickets. Like I'm getting names, dates, So afterwards, I'm ready just to leave, but they have like a little reception afterwards. I'm like, okay, I'll stay because they do have German chocolate cake and I'll stay. That's fine. So I've sat down and I was said something like, yeah, I don't, at the risk of sounding arrogant, I'm never this off. So I don't, and like more of a self-reflection. And the
Right.
other mediums kept saying, you weren't off, you weren't off, you weren't off. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if you noticed, but nobody was taking it. And, but then all of a sudden I hear two people talking about the person that I named by name, very specific name. So here's how it started. Oh, this was platform. So I can, it's a public setting. I hear Harley. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I have a Harley rider here because I ride a Harley. So I get a lot of Harley riders from the other side.
Right.
No big deal. I was like, cool, we're going to bring in more. And I hear Harley, but not a Harley. But not a Harley. And I hear two other names. I'm like getting all these references of what this person saw, what this person did. So going back, this goes back to Bill, like your Bill conversation, you're going to crack up. So then I'm eating my German chocolate cake, like with a cone of shame, practically, like I didn't get anything right. Feeling like, where did I go? I'm like beating myself up. And I hear them talking about another reader that they work with named Harley, who's been sick. And I was like,
my God.
and I said, and I like, they're like the next table over. And I said, did you just say Harley? And also, did you just say da 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 da? And they were like, oh. Then someone else comes up to me and says, yeah, I was going to take that message about the spouse. Cause I was like, this person was so, I had the name, like it, how they passed, it was like, crazy. I'm like, I don't get this kind of information for just a passerby spirit.
Yeah, no.
Like, are we in some portal where all the spirits are coming in but just not for these people? And so she's like, well, that was my ex-husband, but he didn't believe in any of this. So I don't know why he'd come through.
What in the world? And this has happened to me too, by the way.
So, and then she said, well, I had already had a reading and I didn't want to be a message hog. And I'm like, it's not about being a message hog.
He wanted to talk to her.
Yes. Yes.
I just can't. And then you are eating your chocolate cake going, oh my God, well, I made a mistake. We've all been there.
Yes.
What happened? I don't understand how I was that wrong. And you're beating yourself up and there the person comes and goes, that was my person. And you're like, why didn't you raise your hands?
And also, you know, if you're, and so my message, and I actually did a whole video in the car on the way home, like, take the message, raise your hand. If you think it's your, I didn't put it out.
So frustrating.
But also this goes back to, and this, my friend was like, well, it was them. It wasn't you, it was them. And I said, because my guides, which by the way, my guides and I had a very stern conversation on that hour and a half drive home of, I turned down my music and I'm like, conference time. What was that? And they were like, you were there for a lesson. I'm like, not cool. We could have stopped at one lesson, not 3 of the 5. Just one would have been nice. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And they were like, no, they are learning. They're learning how to receive messages. And I said, no, that's unacceptable. It's my job to prove the continuity of life. Period. That's my job as the one on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make it undeniable. But also, I got this overwhelming download of like, well, maybe you should have a spiel in the beginning to explaining your expectations. And I'm like, yeah, but okay. But it wasn't my gig. I was the guest and I was not first.
I understand.
And there were 3 other mediums. And I just assumed that because it was, right, Michelle? Yeah. She was like, not me visualizing Lorinda fighting with her guides.
The spiel doesn't even help. I do spiels at the beginning of every show.
Hi, Todd.
People still forget or don't listen.
I know. Well, and I do, in the times that I have said in the beginning, if you feel like it's your loved one, raise your hand. If there are 10 of you, let me discern who it goes to.
Mhm.
It might be a postcard for you. It might be your loved one here, but it may not be that you're getting the direct connection from me. But it's still going to be a good, valuable message for you to at least let your love, and if you have already received a message, don't sit on your hands and feel ashamed that you're getting another message. It's a blessing,
Absolutely.
It's
just them. Yeah, and
yeah,
they should take it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my Saturday.
And then it's always so funny how you're like, I don't understand how this happened. I just say, I'm like, Spirit, why did this happen?
Why?
And it's like, oh my God, that was my person. And you're like, okay, I wasn't wrong the whole time. And I was doing my job well. And it's just the person didn't raise their hand. It happened to me a lot. I had a whole spirit come through at my first show ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was somebody's dad, all the dads. And dad was the second person to come through. It was a mom first, then it was a dad. And I said, I have this, I remember it like clear as day. There was an antique carpet on the floor. And I was at a country club here in New Jersey. I said, I have a father here. He sold carpets. That was his way of getting me to say that. And I saw, remember the old school warehouses with carpets?
Yeah.
So he showed me the old warehouse with the carpets, how good of a salesman he was. He was so charming. He flirted with everybody. He was making jokes. I think he passed in his 70s, whatever the case may be. And I'm looking around the room. Nobody's raising their hand. There's about 60 women in the room. And I'm like, I know this is somebody's dad. And somebody goes, could it be somebody in the back? I was like, maybe, but I don't think so. Their daughter is right here. So at one point, I'm glazing around, and I'm glancing around, and I see this one woman, and she's whispering to her friend. And I say it again, and I give more evidence. And she's looking at me like this. And I knew it was for her, but I didn't want to badger her, be like, I know this is your dad.
No, I would have. That's where you and I are different.
It was my first show. So
yeah.
I just didn't know this was going to happen. I was freaking out internally.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling it was for her, but it was my first show, and nobody said anything. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, everyone's going to think I'm a fraud. Think I made that up and pulled it out of my butt. Sure enough, at the end of the show, and then after that, all the spirits were, everybody was claiming the right people.
Right.
But at the end, she comes up to me and she goes, that was my dad. He was a carpet salesman in the 80s, and he loved his job, and he was a great salesman.
Yeah, thanks for letting me hang out up there struggling.
I
appreciate
for
that.
5 minutes. I said, I know they're here for a reason. If somebody doesn't want to talk to them, you can just raise your hand and say, I don't want the reading. No.
And that can be true also, because
no, she wanted the reading.
But
she wanted to hear. She loved her dad. She said, oh my God, I love my dad. He's the best dad ever. I'm so happy he came through. And I said, well, I know he had a lot to say. I said, can I ask why you didn't raise your hand? And she was right in the front. She goes, well, I saw you looking at me. I said, yeah, I knew this for you. And she goes, well, I just felt bad to raise my hand. I just didn't want the message. I don't know. I felt bad for everybody else that maybe wanted a message.
And I believe that happens. There's that guilt. Well, what makes me so special that I deserve the message and nobody else? So yeah, I got to work on I have to work on my opening 30-second explain how to take a message spiel is what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because in my case, when that's happened, nobody's taken it, but I know who it goes to. I'll be like, and this happens. This is even on the stage on Saturday. I was like, well, time to pivot, spirit. So you need to show me who I need to go to. And I would go to a person and be like, this may not be your spirit, but may I come to you? I feel like the spirit is saying da 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 da, and actually ends up being that the message itself resonated with that person, even though the spirit wasn't for her. So the message actually did resonate. And that is seriously, that is hardcore training from Reverend Glenda Cataract. That's my mentor. And because she was like, you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're up on the stage and you forget your dance, you're just going to stand there and look at people, walk off. No, you're going to move your feet and you're going to pivot. you're going to improv. You're going to make it work. And she goes, and you have to work with your guides to get the appropriate message. Like if the person's not taking it, you have to have that relationship with your guides for them to go, all right, listen, new plan, here you go. And I actually heard them say, new plan, go to her.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and that takes time. Like that doesn't just happen first day out. The first time I ever did a platform mediumship though, was at a little event in like Richmond, Indiana, where I'm pretty sure I could have been burned at the stake had a lot of people known I was going to be there. Like it's that kind of town. Like it just was, it's not a big,
oh wow. Okay.
I'm in Indiana. It happens.
I'm not familiar with Indiana, so I don't know.
Well, there are like fortune telling laws here.
Oh my goodness.
So,
I never lived there.
So I get a spirit. And I'm here, I'm like, they're showing me Wizard of Oz and all these things. And by the way, I'm on TikTok live also at this event. I was like, this would be fun. And everybody else thought it was going to be, everybody in their little group said, oh, that's cool. Yeah, do that. I'm getting all this evidence. I know it's for this specific lady. And I was like, okay, do you mind if I come to you? And I deliver the message. And then she comes up to me later after I'm like, okay, Wizard of Oz, all this evidence. And she goes, I have a question. My mom's name is Dorothy. Could that have been her? I literally said, I feel your mom coming through. She's showing me Wizard of Oz, trying to get me to say something about that. And she's like, she kept saying, nope. Like not just, no, I don't know. It was like an arrogant, nope. But then afterwards, when everybody left, she's like, wait, could that have been my mom? Her name was Dorothy. Yeah. So I'm like, wow. Yeah. But then what's really frustrating is when those same people want you to continue the reading on the fly right then. I'd be like, cool.
Yep.
Maybe next time she'll come through again. I got the little puzzle piece. All right. Yeah. Maybe next time they'll come through again. Good luck to you. Thanks for the validation.
It's crazy to me. It's always happened to me a couple of times. They come up, they're like,
yes.
Oh, do you have a couple of minutes? And I'm like, we were here. I had your mom. Like, why didn't you say anything? Like, I understand if people, like what we're saying too for everybody else is we understand if people don't want to hear from somebody in spirit. But these people, they want to hear from their people. They love their people. They have good relationships.
Yes.
That's why it's like the math is not mathing.
Right.
You want to hear from them. They're coming through to talk to you. I'm like, I wish I would go somewhere and someone would come up to me and be like, even as a medium, I love getting readings. I
love it.
For me, give me a message.
Right.
Tell me anything.
That's why I truly love working with you. And we do our little sessions together. I'm like, oh, I get messages today. This is great.
It's so fun.
I love it. And now Kelly, she's over here on YouTube, made a good point. She's like, now what if that person didn't want other people to know something, like publicly, but I don't know. I mean, that was a mom coming through.
I had that happen once. It was awkward, put it that way. And out of respect of privacy, I'm going to make it really vague. So I was at an event, and of course I'm demonstrating. I'm walking around the room. And let's just say their person comes through. I don't know who's going to see this. So their person comes through and they start being weird about certain names that I'm saying. The stuff that's coming out of my mouth from their loved one is relevant, very much so. For something, the message was for something that was going on in their lives. Mm-hmm. That they didn't want anybody, without me actually saying what was happening, right?
Right.
The way that the spirit was wording it was, I think, just enough so that they knew on the other side what they were doing.
Spirit HIPAA laws. I call those spirit HIPAA laws. They're private, even though they're public.
Yes. So it was like an incognito sort of message.
Yeah.
But that person immediately, they got nervous. And I could tell something was amiss. And I just moved on to another message and I called it there, but they were visibly not comfortable with what I was bringing up. And in my head, I heard, it's a secret. And I went, oh, okay.
Then why are you bringing it? If it's a secret, Spirit, why are you bringing it up? Like, let's not do that.
Exactly bring up what was going on, but the name they brought through was relevant for the secret situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, oh yeah, makes sense.
So the people they were sitting with, of course, couldn't know. So I walk and I'm done, I'm eating, I'm having my wine, and I'm decompressing after. And they come up to me and they go, why did my person give you that name? And I said, because they want you to know that they know. And this was the kind of the message that I was able to give to them now. I mean, I'm being pretty vague, but you kind of get what I'm getting at.
Yep. And
they said, yeah, no, can't say that out loud. There's people around me that can't know. And they started telling me everything, like, blah, 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 and just going off. And I was like, okay. I said, well, I noticed you were uncomfortable, so I just kind of left it with the other message. Wow. And then I kind of felt bad. I mean, they didn't exactly say, like, here's the secret, but I heard that name loud and clear. And afterwards, I was like, oops.
Spirit was like outing him without outing him. That's funny.
They had some secrets, and that's never happened to me besides that, but I thought it was interesting. But also, Spirit's intelligent enough. They weren't going to be like, oh, this name is doing this with this person.
Right.
They were just kind of insinuating, like, the situation without saying it. Yep. That person was like, oh my God, I don't understand why that came through. And I'm so sorry. I was like, no, don't apologize. It's all right.
Yeah.
And that name was the exact name.
Yeah.
And an uncommon name at that. I'm not going to say the name.
Hinting on the T. That's true. It's true. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Thought came in and left just as fast as it came in. That's funny. But yeah, Spirit will, I mean, if they're trying to get your attention, they will. And somebody had asked, do you deliver the message anyway? Yes. So if I get a spirit that comes in, nobody's taking it, then that's what I was saying earlier. I will say, all right, pivot. Who am I going to? Who am I going to? Who am I delivering the message to? And that's where it was. Yeah, we do that I do that all the time. Not all the time, but you learn, because someone is going to figure it out later and go, oh, wait, maybe that was for me. Yeah. And at least hear the message and be able to take that message away, you know? So, so this morning, so we didn't even talk about the musical aspect. And I know you got to leave in like just a few minutes. But you know, you're very clairaudient. Like, you hear things, you get music. I do too. I wore my Hotel California because the Eagles are always references they're always musical references for me, because Spirit will tap into songs that I know. Right. So this morning, as I was like, kind of before I was awake, before I went to bed last night, I was lecturing Spirit. I'm like, listen, it's all fun and games that I sleep pretty solid, but I kind of miss dreaming, because I used to dream all the time, and I would get messages. I would feel I would feel my downloads of information. I would wake up hearing songs, and I would know that this was going to be a message later in the day or a theme for the day, because being a dance teacher, I get a lot of musical references too. And I started hearing, I heard as I was kind of waking up, it sounded like static, like someone's trying to come through. It sounded like electric, but I heard Lorenda. And then I heard like another sound from a book that I'm listening to. All of a sudden they're talking to me, but I know it's Spirit in the voice of the book that I listened to. And then I heard a song that I kept seeing your face. Now, oh shit, what was the song? Now I can't remember the name of the song. But I kept seeing I'll think of it. So what I want to talk about with you is like, let's talk about that. Tell me a little bit about like how that started for you. What does that look like for you? I know what it looks like for me, but like it could be very different. Like how does the musical thing work for you?
Oh, I love that question. So when I first started doing readings in general, it was mainly tarot readings and psychic readings, not even mediumship. And every morning I would wake up and I'd put on my Pandora I would use the shuffle station option, and I would say, okay, Spirit, give me a sign. And it was always a relevant song for that day or that week. And everybody talks to me. Everybody, all my loved ones on the other side talk to me with music and songs. Like my dad sends me a certain song. My grandpa sends me a certain song. So they always communicate with me through music. And then when I started really diving into my mediumship, my first reading ever, it was their anniversary relationship song.
I love that.
Ever since then, it was people's wedding songs with husbands and wives who passed. It was birthday. Like you've probably seen some of my readings that I posted. I'll just start busting out "Happy Birthday to you."
Yeah.
And they just have me singing like these random songs. And it's always either a relevant message for the sitter, or for the most part, it's not even just a message. It's a sign from their loved ones, a specific song, or it's a core memory. I had a reading once with somebody's husband where he was singing "At Last" by Etta James.
Yep.
And it was a song that they actually met Etta James. It was beautiful. They met her in person and danced to "At Last." And it was a core memory for them. And then from there, I mean, I have no musical talent whatsoever. I tell everybody, this is the ironic part. I can't sing, I can't dance. I mean, I sing, but I can't sing well. I tried to play the piano when I was very little. I do nothing musical besides I really just enjoy music.
Yeah.
I listen to music from all different decades. I try to expand my knowledge. So when a new song comes in with someone who's like way older than me, I can try to understand what the song is so I know the name. So that's the melody. I mean, even like when my boyfriend was cheating on me a couple years ago, I kept asking Spirit, I said, tell me he's cheating. And they did in a bunch of different ways. But that song came on. You know that song by J. Cole? They go, she knows, I know she knows.
No.
And I know she knows. I think it's about somebody lying. And they kept giving me like the same sort of songs about infidelity on the shuffle stations. No songs that I liked, just random songs. So that's how they talk to me. It's not even just me sitting. They just talk to me in my everyday life with songs and with my clients. So it's just constant music. That's really the musical aspect.
I love that. Again, being a dance teacher, that music is my language. So I get that. What would you say was, if you could, I know I'm putting you on the spot, like kind of like a mind blowing, like you get a song and you're like, all right, well, I'm hearing this song, and like the person is like, wow, that's crazy. What, do you have any of those kind of stories?
I had a reading a couple months ago. It was just a psychic reading, no mediumship. And I heard that song, Under Pressure. It just came out of my mouth. We weren't even talking about being under pressure. I said, we were talking about her job. And I was like, I just keep seeing you getting ready for work. And I'm hearing Under Pressure, coming down. You know the song. And she goes, I play that song every single morning while I get ready for work.
No way. That's cool. I love that. I love when Spirit, that to me, music, especially if you're a music person, Spirit will use, and as a teacher, I know you're going to validate this. Like, I know you get this. Spirit meets us where we are. So if we are not practicing mediums or practice psychics, and we are just muggles out in the free world, music is the easiest thing for Spirit to talk to us. And they will, those little the earwigs you get, the earworms you get, where that loop is playing over and over again, listen to it, because it's probably Spirit trying to tell you something. And yeah, I mean, I love when I get music, and we use that a lot. I've used that exercises in my development classes where we'll utilize music as a message. And I ended up actually having a guy that I saw playing in Galway in a pub. He was awesome. I could not stop listening. I felt like I've known him my whole life. He had to be famous. He wasn't. Turns out a week later, a song that he had just put out blew up, and he came on my show and did a whole thing. But his song kept coming into readings. And I said, I don't know what your religious beliefs are. However, this is what the crazy thing is. Your music is coming into my readings. Would
Wow.
you be willing to come on and talk about your journey, but also talk about how music can transcend things? Like, would that be something you're open to? And he totally came on and did the show.
I
It was
love
cool.
that.
I
think
know.
I saw him on
Yeah.
your thing.
Jamie McIntyre. Yeah,
Okay.
he's awesome. And now he's like literally he's going on tour, he's doing shows. Like I saw him 2 weeks prior to him just blowing up. He didn't have an agent, he didn't have a publicist, he didn't have anything when I saw him. And then now he's like got merch.
That's amazing.
I know.
Essentially predicted it.
But I don't think I mean, yeah, I kind of did. But also, it was more about the why is his music coming into my readings so often? Is there am I broken? He's like, why can I not stop thinking about this? And spirit kept pushing me towards that direction. And they do that all the time, especially like in Eagles. That's another good one. Like Eagles songs will come in all the time with very specific messages. I love it. I love the whole musical aspect. So just remember that when you hear those songs, friends, that are over and over again, listen to the words that are happening. Pay attention to how you're feeling in that moment. And maybe it's not even the song, maybe it's the name of the artist. Have you ever gotten that? Where
oh yeah, everything is relevant. And
yeah.
if you think about it, for everybody in the crowd too, spirit is going to speak to us however we can understand them.
Yes.
So if they can just send you a song, they can interfere with technology. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people in the group. All of a sudden, do you know, and I'll tell you this, I probably should go in like 3 minutes, but
that's okay.
My mom is sort of skeptical. So she gets annoyed sometimes when I bring up these things. Like she believes it, but she doesn't. So I picked my mom up. We went to go to this little Christmas village back in December, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I wish somebody was there to record it because her face. My dad sends me that song Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere over the rainbow. So
Wizard of Oz. There's that again. The Wizard of Oz reference.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah. So I said, I'm driving. I said to my mom, here's my phone, play Pandora Shuffle. Dad, if you can hear us, which I know he's here and he can, I want you to put on Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So my mom somehow put on Lana Del Rey radio. And so I think Summertime Sadness, that song by her, was finishing up. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden you hear, and it's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And my mom goes,
what?
Like this. And we're driving down this like back road. She's kind of out in the country in New Jersey. And she's just dead silent for like 10 minutes. And I said, Mom, do you believe that Dad's here now? I said, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't want to force it on her, but I'm like, I do this. If this is not a sign that Dad's here, what is?
Right.
What's going to be a sign, Mom?
Right. Well, I just think that, I don't know. I think people have a hard time wrapping their mind around it. And some people are just raised to be skeptical about everything, honestly. Like some people are just, they try to debunk everything. And until there's absolutely no room for mistakes, they don't accept it, Mm-hmm. So who knows? But I think that's adorable though, that you guys got that message from your dad. I love that. So, well,
my dad was like, all right, we're going to make it happen.
Well, I know you have to go because you got to get ready to go teach class. So make sure you guys are following Alyssa. And do you have anything coming up? I know you teach classes, you do live stuff. So what do you have coming up that people can be interested in?
So if they're local I can't even talk. Spirit brain. If you're local in New Jersey, on June 14th, which is a Saturday, from 12 to 2, which I posted yesterday, I'm doing in-person dog readings at a local dog barkery with holistic dog treats and dog food. And it's also, they have grooming services as well, and just anything you want to buy for your dog. We could do a little spa day. And it's called the dog spa, literally. My dog goes to their groomers is the pet spa. Oh, maybe they're related. That's so funny. We have to check. So I'm doing that in person. And this Sunday, I'm going live, if you know Sabrina. Mm-hmm. And I are going to do, not live, we're doing a Zoom ticketed event on May 4th, which is the Sunday. So tickets for that are in the bio. So I have a couple of things going on with other mediums. So if we get to 40 tickets, I'm bringing her to an undisclosed haunted location.
That'll
we're
be
gonna get
fun.
40 tickets. So if we get enough, everyone's going to be able to see. We're going to channel spirit and like, I don't know, some sort of haunted location with spirits from like way back when.
I love that. How fun. Fun. Well,
Yeah.
I adore you, and I'm so glad and thankful that this worked out. You could come on and hang out and talk all things spirit, and like text me a little bit so we can get our next practice session.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was so fun. I'm just so glad we met. This was
Me
just
too.
destined. Because so many people reached out to practice, and I don't have a lot of time as it is. And some people were just really beginners, and I was like, I can't really work with a beginner because then that's going to require me also teaching, which I didn't want to do.
Right.
Out of respect. We can all learn from people from different levels, but I can't work with an actual beginner.
Right.
Which I think you can understand. So then you reached out, and I was like, oh. And then Spirit was like, her. Work with her. So out of everybody, obviously I can't practice with all 40 people that reached out. I mean, I was flattered, but I was like, I have to work with her. So I think this was meant to be, and I'm really glad it worked out.
And we've had a lot of really cool things kind of transpire since then, since working together. So, and I love that Kimberly's dropping purple hearts right now.
I know, purple. You have to tell them the purple story, and I'm going to leave right
now.
But we're going to practice later. I think we have the time set up and all that.
Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, yeah, it's today. It's today.
Can you do today still?
Yeah, I can.
You want to do 2 or 2:30? I think you said 2.
2 o'clock, because I have to teach later, and earlier is better.
I'll see you at 2.
All right, cool. All right, thanks for coming on. We're going to hang out all. We're going to keep going. Bye, Alyssa.
Bye, everybody.
I'll let you bop yourself
Thanks
out.
for coming. Go hang out still. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye. How do I get out of here? Okay, there you go.
So how fun was that? I love her. She's like genuine, legit medium. Make sure you guys are following her for sure. But yeah, we've had a really good time working together and practicing. I mean, I know I've honed my skills, and legit. She actually, I know I meant to say this when she was here. She actually brought through my animals that have passed, my 2 dogs that have passed. So thank you, Shelley, for saying that. And so she was like on point, So funny story. I'll tell you like how that kind of played out. So most of you know, some of you probably know that my little dog, we had to make a choice back in February, and she's no longer with us, but I still have my other dog, Olive. And so she was like, I'm getting a little white dog, like my dog that I'd had who was 14 years and years and years ago, right? But I know is always with me. I have his ashes in the cabinet, brought him through, but then started describing all the things that was wrong with my other dog that just passed. So, and then she was like, they keep saying they're in the corner and laughing. Like they think it's cute and funny that they're in the corner. The night before, my other dog had been standing in the corner by the front door, just kind of hunched down and looking. Like you could tell she was looking down at something and just staring. And like, so she's like this. And then I was like, Olive, are you okay? And she's like, and goes back and just stares. And then she like curls up and lays in the corner and just puts her head down and looks really sad. I was like, oh. And I said, do you see Piper? Is Piper there? And when I went up there, when Alyssa was saying this, she's like, we're in the corner. I was like, let me show you the corner. So I'm like taking the laptop and I go look at the corner. And do you know what's in the corner is my dog's old toy, like her favorite toy. And it's purple. So I have to tell you that story too. And it's purple is Piper's favorite toy. So it was cute. And she was like, and the message, because even with your pets, it's not that they come in and just are around like, oh, we love you, we're around. I mean, especially like Alyssa and I, we're at that level where once you get the spirit identified, then there's a message. You find out what they have to say. And she just basically said it was for both of the dogs that I have on the other side, that was the best choice that we made that choice to send them over the rainbow. So yeah, and one of the things that kept coming up was, it was crazy. And I may have told this story a little bit last week, was when we were practicing with deep diving and getting specific evidence, because we don't just get together and just like, oh no, I don't want to work with you, decline. We try to really hone specific skills. We try to tap in, like, and try to grow ourselves, because it's now, we know we can connect with spirit. We know we can get evidence. We know we can do messages. We both have done platform work. We're very similar that way. Right. And she was like, oh, I guess I'm working with pets today, but they were showing her like remote locations. Like, so there was a whole deep dive. Anyway, that same time I was my turn. I notice a purple highlighter sitting on the table. And I'm like, first of all, where'd this come from? My husband's a highlighter king. Like he loves office supplies. Right. And there was like 5 highlighters sitting there, and he always has yellow ones, maybe green ones, but like the purple one, I was like, I'm supposed to talk about this purple highlighter. Purple is a very relevant color right now. And I said, and I was connected with a loved one, and I'm like, and I feel like there's a picture of her in something purple, violet. I kept hearing violet, violet, violet. And this was tax week too. So my brain was a little bit on, so it wasn't last week, it was 2 weeks ago. But it's like taxes. So my brain's in tax mode. And then like all this stuff just kind of, I get all this evidence and we move on from it. Well, then I get off the call with her. I open Instagram, as one does. And then there's like a dance, a musical kind of situation where the dancers are all in like really classy black outfits with violet gloves. I'm like, that's not suspicious. And then like the rest of the day, violet and purple kept coming up. That was not a ghost. That was literally just dust. Violet and purple kept coming up. Well, a few days later, I go take trance class with Reverend Glenda, and I end up trance channeling a deity that was very purple and called herself a violet queen, and she had a violet crown of flames. So I know I had told this story a little bit, but yeah, it was pretty wild to do that. And then ever since then, and then Alyssa texted me, she's like, oh my God, guess what? And I was like, because I'd sent her something that was like, look, some more violet. I don't know if that message was for you or me or both. And she's like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. I'm getting my nails done right now. And guess what color I'm doing? I'm like, of course you are. So she showed like what you just saw. She was on with her purple nails. So that was kind of funny. So ever since then, I keep getting all these funny little violet and purple references. I have been channeling a lot of deities. And actually, and what's cool is like, even in class, I've been channeling some loved ones too. I just don't do that publicly yet. I tell you what, Saturday when I was at Camp Chesterfield, and see, I'm not certified to do trance at Camp Chesterfield, so I can't do trance on platform. That dragon deity that came in, that energy, or that guide energy that came in, I thought for sure that thing was going to start talking to me or talking through me. And because rule number 1, those of you that are in my class and have taken trance with me or have done mediumship, what's rule number 1 in mediumship or trance or any kind of work? What's rule number 1? Oh, wait, besides don't say what you don't know. And think about, why do people fear doing trance? What's the biggest fear? Just waiting. Purple's your favorite color. I love that, Lindsay. No, you guys don't remember? Big fear is possession. That's right. That is a big fear. Okay. Spirit taking over. Okay. Getting the right person, giving the evidence. Okay. Losing control. And what do I tell people if you've taken trance from me? Rule number one, whether it's trance, whether it's mediumship, is the medium is always in control. Oh, yes, you got it. You're like, no, she said it first. Yeah, I'll take that. The medium, that's right, Amy, you are always in charge. You have the right to say no, absolutely. The medium is always in control, period. If you've got healthy boundaries with your guides, and this is where, no, I don't have to work with my guides to bring in spirit. I don't. And people will tell you that to be like, you shouldn't need to use spirit guides. No. They're my fucking bodyguards. They're my entourage. They're my team. Yeah. They go out ahead of me and they're like, yeah, no, not you. No, not you. Okay. Yeah. You get in line. They're my bouncers. Right. And they keep me safe. They're not going to let anybody come in that I'm not going to want to come in. Yeah. The way I'm dancing, like, you dang right there, bodyguards. That's right. They are. They really are. And also, this is squeezing my head. I'm going to take this off for a few minutes. They really are. I depend on my team to help keep me safe, energetically clear, get clear messages, connect to the appropriate people in the moment. They also, when I'm out in the wild, keep everybody away from me. Like, if I want to go shopping for bananas, I don't want to be talking to someone's grandma that's looking at the kiwis. No. Okay. I want to be a normal human. I want to be out in the wild doing my thing. So the medium is always in control. So when I'm on platform on Saturday, I'm like, listen, you cannot come in and speak through me. Out in the wild. Yeah, that's what I say. When I'm out in the wild doing the muggle thing. And I said, you can speak into my mind. And then what was crazy is I heard a character's voice. I'm reading Fourth Wing. How many of you have read Fourth Wing, that series? I'm on Iron Flame right now, like the second half of Iron Flame. So if you've read Fourth Wing or are familiar, there's like dragons involved. And I heard in my head Taryn's voice. But I knew it was that deity, that entity. Right? Ask permission. Yes, Kelly. And so I was like, you can tell me the message. And the message was spot on for that person and what she needed to do and how she needed to work closer with him. It was one of her guides that came through. Right, Kara? It's so good. So good. But so yeah. So now I've got dragon energy coming in, and of course I'm like, listen, you have to control this whole heat thing because I don't need dragons coming in, talking in my head, and I already have enough hot flashes. Keep your fire to yourself. Okay? I already have enough flame work going on in here. I don't need yours too. So yeah, problems of a perimenopausal medium who can bring through dragons. I literally on the platform, I'm like, I have a sweat stash. I am dripping. And the second that the reading was done, they moved the dragon moved out. That dragon energy moved out. I was fine. Like I quit sweating. Everything was fine. I was fine the rest of the readings. Didn't have any of that coming in. So yeah, it was pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Want to give you a flame crown. I know. You know what? Well, I do have this though. And this actually has the one I just took off. This actually has like sun in there. And this is very much my big Leo energy fire crown. To me, this says flames. someone's spirit guide. Yes, it was. And I didn't know that because I've been in class with this person before. She's actually, she lives close by to Camp Chesterfield, and I've been in class with her before, but that's not one of her core guides that I would have known. It's a special guide that was coming in to help her with something very specific. And then it's like, was like, and you need moldavite, you need a dark moldavite and a white moldavite. You need these two things to help balance the light and the dark, and da 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 da. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, this makes sense. So yeah, is one of her special guides coming in. It's not a core guide, but one of her special guides coming in. Yeah. It was crazy. And she already knew him. It wasn't even like oh, that's interesting. I have a new guide I didn't know about. It was someone she'd already worked with and already met. And like, he told me what color he was, told me how he works with her. She validated all of it. So that was pretty cool. I love that. I love when spirit does that, you know. And I know that's not typical. Like, I know a lot of the people you guys follow on here do, you know, just like only speak to the loved ones and deliver the messages of healing. But I tell you what, I'm here all day for those people who need messages that are also mediums, because we need our messages too. And sometimes if we're not listening, our guides will come in and be like, okay, I'm going to need so-and-so to give Lorinda a message because she's not hearing me right. Not me walking into my second house where my sis says, and seeing a drive poster when I said that. Oh, that is hilarious. I love that, Kimberly. That's funny. Dragons are very protective and do not always show themselves. So he must really trust you. And that I got that feeling. I really did get that feeling. And the fact that not only that, he was ready and willing to blend with me, and I could have allowed him to speak through me. But because of the rules of Camp Chesterfield, I could not, which was kind of a bummer, but I also respect their rules 100%. They give me the space to do what I do and learn. No trance channeling it is. I can only do it when I'm there with my mentor. Oh, hi, Lucas. Or tell your mom I said hi also. It says Black Dragon Tattoo. Okay, you know what's funny? Black Dragon Tattoo. I have wanted a dragon tattoo for a very long time. Before I started reading about the dragon series, I've wanted one for a long time. And actually, I have a shirt that says Mother of Dragons because my children all are like dragons. And my motorcycle's name is Daenerys, because I was a big Game of Thrones fan of the show. And I've wanted a dragon tattoo for a long time. Do I teach trance there? I don't teach trance at Camp Chesterfield. I'm not a certified trance medium. And I'm not certified through them because I don't have time to do that. And I'm just going to, for those of you that are familiar. So I teach trance, but not at I teach trance, but in class. I've only taught it in person at Healing Brew in an event I did in. We don't want you to put your personal information in there because my scammers will find you, and they'll pretend to be me. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I saw you lost your father. So just know that if someone reaches out to you because they lay in wait, yeah, it's your protection. We're not being jerks, I promise. But also, would you walk into a room and just shout your business? Nah, full of strangers. Don't do it. It's for your safety, I promise. Okay. Courtney. Yeah. So anyway, I am in the process. I've got to find a date. I had 3 dates that I was going to have as possibilities to teach an online trance class. And then within a day, those 3 days got sucked up with dance things. So I don't even know when in the world I would teach it that makes sense, because I have time during the day, like daylight hours, like but people work during the day. I teach 4 nights a week. Um, and then on weekends, I'm like so busy. I heard you say something about teaching trance. Yes. So please, please, please keep an eye out, because it's the day that I've got my date set. I'm going to blast it out there. Okay. And I love doing trance. It's to me, it's like no thinking. I don't have to think about it. I just get out of the way and let spirit talk. Where with mediumship, you have to have a little bit of discernment. You've got to understand what's coming in, how it's coming in, delivering the message. And so I love doing trance mediumship. It just makes me sad that I can't do it on platform at Camp Chesterfield. Now, had I been at the church in the Spiritualist Church in Williamsburg on Saturday night, had a spirit wanted to blend with me and come through, I would have allowed it, because there are no rules there for that. So it just bums me out that that's the only place that the spirit was trying to blend with me and come through. We'll get more though, without knowing. Yes, I'm writing you out. Yes, I know she has. She did tell me though. She did tell me. She's like, wait, ah. Yes, he's amazing. She has no idea how amazing she is. They do that. If you're not getting the message right, they'll be like, hi, hey, yeah. So just, excuse me, pardon me. I'm just going to step in here. I got this. You just sit over there and let me talk. And then they do. If you can get out of the way and let them talk, they will. And actually on May 2nd, oh wait, that's tomorrow. So tomorrow, I love that, Yessie. So tomorrow, I'm going to be on tomorrow night at 5:00 Pacific, 8:00 Eastern. I'm going to be on live with Carrie Koss, my bestie. We're going to be talking about trance. So, okay, I will have, all right. Okay. Spirit was like, so maybe you should pick your date. So I'll have my date ready to announce. I'll announce it on her live. Okay, I got to make a note. I'll announce the date that I'm going to do trance class on her live. So make sure to watch Carrie Koss's live with me tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern. Yeah, I said, I know. I just wrote it down. Hey, Yessie, can you do me a favor and text me later and be like, hey, pick your date so I can do it. Please. Okay, thanks. So yeah, I'll be alive with her. I love her so much. And I will actually do a video to, now that Alyssa's been on, I will make sure to advertise Carrie's live for tomorrow night on all the things. I want to say it's on TikTok, but I'm pretty sure it's TikTok. I'm almost positive it's TikTok. I don't think I'm going to be on her app. I think it's TikTok. I'm saying all that, but really, who knows? No, it's TikTok. So what I might do for those that don't have TikTok, I might, oh, no, that's not true. She sent me a StreamYard. She sent me a StreamYard link. It's not. Oh, yikes. Okay. Watch my socials. Watch my socials so we'll know where to go. Because here, actually, I'll look. Hold on. Let me see if I have it on my iPad. Where, oh, I have it right here, actually. Let me look. Because she sent me the link, and I just remembered that she sent me the link for. Okay, let's see. I think what we're doing, I think we are doing all the platforms like what I'm doing right now. I think that's what we are doing. because we're trying to step out of our comfort zone. This live is tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern, 5:00 Pacific. Oh, bummer, Alicia. And she sent me a StreamYard, and I think we're doing what I'm doing here. So I'll put more information out. So just kind of make note. Look for us tomorrow night. It's probably going to be on the Instagram, Facebook, and all the things. So I'll confirm with her today and put all the things out. I just know that we were doing the live. Oh, I guess I could wait. Why don't I look at the advertisement she sent me? Why don't I start with that part of my brain? Let's do that. Shall we? Let me get to it. Okay, well, good news. It's not actually on. It just says live stream. It's going to be like what this is now. It's going to be what it is now. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, probably TikTok as well. So there's that. Make sure you follow me on all the platforms, just in case. Yeah. I'm a mess. I am a mess. 42 in the fan club. Oh, I love that. Yeah, follow me, set notifications tomorrow, 8:00. Make sure you follow Carrie Koss, Spirit Mentor. She is, she's the one leading the charge on this. Okay. So we did a lot of really cool things today. I know we didn't get to do readings again, but just so you all know, I do have classes, 2 classes coming up in May, 2 different Tuesdays, the 6th and the 27th. I need to change the date on that online because right now it is set up for the 20th and I cannot do the 20th. I've got something else going on. And then, Jiminy Christmas. I'm going to change that right now. I'm thinking about it. So the first and the last. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can't do that right now. And then of course, trance class is going to be announced tomorrow because I have to choose it before then. And then my calendar is open for May. Thank you, Yessie. My calendar for private readings is open for May. If you are interested in having a private reading with me, make sure, be sure to check out my link in bio. And then I also do, QHHT, hypnosis, all those fun things. I go live today on my business account. Okay, cool. Make sure if you share out those things, just make sure to send me an invite, or not invite to come in, but Courtney, send me share it with me when you do that. And I'll try to pop in if I can. I do teach that. Getting ready for windy rain. Need to batten down the hatches. Oh, I haven't even looked outside. I have no idea what it's doing outside right now. And actually, it's funny. Lucas just asked me, how's the weather? I don't know. I haven't looked outside. It was kind of cloudy earlier. Might be raining. And oh, thank you, Yessie. And yes, I do healing work. I do multidimensional healing. I do hypnosis. I do lots of things. So check it out. I even teach tap dance. Fun fact, when I was first starting on TikTok, my screen name was Tap Dancing Psychic Biker. And then I popped into somebody's live and was just watching, and it was a medium. He was like, your name's too long and dumb. I'm like, block. How about we not watch? But then I ended up changing it. But yeah, told me my name was too long. He wasn't going to say it, and it was kind of dumb. But he was a medium. So yeah, isn't that crazy? Rude. I don't remember his name, but he had a ton of people in his room, which kind of sucked because it was right when I was first starting. He needed fries. He did. He needed fries. Yeah. I really wish I could remember the song that I woke up thinking about this morning when Alyssa's face popped into my head. I want to say it's like, "It's a beautiful day." That wasn't it, but that song has been in my head all day too. It was really disappointing, Courtney, like, it really was. Unsalted fries. He's a hangry medium. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. He was a hangry medium. He was. Oh, I'm glad, Shelley. I'm glad you've enjoyed the live. Um, yeah, so I need food. You know what's funny is on Thursdays, not every Thursday, but a lot of times I will um I will go get fries on Thursdays. It's like it's in my brain, so I have to go get French fries. Is that terrible? I don't even crave French fries ever. I don't even crave fast food. Like it makes me like sick to my stomach. So yeah, I'm sure I'll probably go get food today and grab some French fries because with a spicy chicken sandwich. So I go to Popeye's Louisiana Chicken sometimes, and I will get their original recipe. I've not tried their spicy because I always get heartburn, but I've not tried their spicy chicken. I've heard it's really good though. I know, right? See? Do you want fries with that? I got all the things. You get some fries with that. I know. And then the chicken sandwiches are so big that I only like end up eating half of it. I eat the whole thing, but like in two sittings because they're so big. Anyway, all right. So I know we did not do readings today. However, I really enjoyed having Alyssa on today. And I really appreciate you guys coming in and supporting her and following her. She's really a truly cool person and good human. I really like her. Fries covered in barbecue. Ooh, interesting. I like barbecue, I like ranch, and I like ketchup, of course. Depends on the fries. And so, yeah, she was awesome. Loved her. So your challenge today is let's do a little exercise because I got a few minutes. I have like 6 minutes left. Let's do a fun little exercise. I want everyone here that's watching to make note. What's the first song? What's the first song that pops into your head right now? Type out what song. What song is in your head right now? What's the first song that comes to your mind? I'll wait. First song that comes to your head. "500 Miles," "Don't Walk Away," "Unwritten." Ooh, that's a good one. "Over the Rainbow," "Soul Sisters," "The Way You Look Tonight." Ooh, that's a good one too. "You're My Sunshine." Sometimes I use that "You Are My Sunshine" on platform before I read. "Crybaby," "Yellow Polka Dot Bikini." Okay, that is hilarious. I love that, Mystic Star. "Beautiful Day." That's the song that's in my head right now. "It's a beautiful day." Wait, were you in here when I said that? I may have actually planted that in your head. "'Cause I'm happy." Good one. "Today's the Greatest Day" by Smashing Pumpkins. All right. "You Got a Friend." I love it. Oh, I love that, Courtney. So now, when you think of that song that's popping into your head right now, "Cover Me in Sunshine," good one. What, "Black Widow," I want you to think about who pops into your head immediately with that song? Or what does it make you think of? Or what verse are you hearing? Or what chorus? What is standing out about that song? Let's start with that. What's standing out about that song? And are any of the songs coming into the chat songs that make you think of loved ones? So scroll through the chats to see, is anybody else's song resonating with me? Okay, so Spirit will send us messages and check in with us through music. And sometimes it's that weird song that might be playing over and over in your head. Mine makes me think of my ex who did me dirty and how I've been crying too long. Yeah, quit crying, girl. A couple songs immediately made me think about my dad. Sailing takes me away. Yeah, from Christopher Cross, that one, or is there another one? That reminds me of a terrible memory from 4th grade, actually, for me. And not terrible, embarrassing. Exactly. Okay. It wasn't a bad memory. It's just an embarrassing memory. 4th grade music class, like legit. Live with arms wide open. I'm still writing my story. Ooh, yes. Yep. New month, new experiences. Yes. Oh, yeah. Happy May, you guys. It's May. It's May, the lusty month of May. Definitely thought about special friends. Love it. Stuck the grand illusion. Been talking about dads and grandmas. They're my people in spirit. Many postcards. Good. Dance like nobody's watching. That's me all the time. Actually, I dance like people are watching and I don't care. But also that's my job. Are you going to share the story about 4th grade? I mean, it's like one of those really weird things where we got to bring in music, and I brought in my big record album from Christopher Cross because it's the only album really we owned. And I was obsessed with it because it's the only one, and I just wanted to fit in. Nobody was actually listening to Christopher. Well, that's not true. Christopher Cross was kind of popular at that time. And so everybody got to bring in music to play during music class. It was like the last week of classes in 4th grade. And someone else's song was playing, but I was really afraid that mine wasn't going to get to play. So I just stopped. I went over to the record player, took the needle off, took theirs off, and I was going to put mine on, and I got in trouble. I was never an impulsive kid like that. I never did stuff like that. But I was really convinced that we would not have time, and I just really wanted to listen to my song. Why I remember that? No clue, but I was super embarrassed because nobody wanted to listen to my song. They liked the other song. Yeah. It's gonna be May. Yes, Justin Timberlake. I guess I'll bye. So yeah, that was my embarrassing 4th grade story. So I loved that song. But I did like Christopher Cross. It made me get my feels when I was 9. But yeah. Anyway, all right. Thank you all for coming in and watching. Listen to the songs throughout the day. And make sure if you aren't already, make sure you're following Alyssa, the musical medium, and check her stuff out. She's got a lot going on. She has a lot of really cool things going on. And check out my website. Oh, Saturday in the park. Yep, got that one too. Make sure you're checking me out, checking out my stuff, check out my calendar, check out my offerings. I really do need to update my website with all of the current events. And I also do mentorship. So if you're thinking you want to start learning how to do this and need a safe space to do it, let me know. I'd love to sit with you and check. You just want to sign up at my website. So, Bobby Sherman. It's familiar. Was he a solo artist or was he with a group? I feel like I know that name. I feel like I remember that name. But again, also like musician, music, like I have all the references for music, whether it was when I was alive or not. So solo the band, but he was popular when I was young and in high school. Got it. I recognize his name. I bet if I heard a song, I'd know it. All right. Thank you. And Kelly's like, makes me want to jump. That's a good one. That's a good one, Kelly. All right. I'm out of here, friends. I've got to go eat. And I have so much to do for my dance studio. I've got to record videos for little kids and all the things. I have so much going on today. However, I'd love it if you guys want a reading. Come sign up with me for a reading. And thank you to my mods. I appreciate you guys helping out today. And thank you all for sharing your time with me. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you were inspired a little bit today and to go out and do something amazing and listen to the music. Yeah, listen to the music, because there's always messages in the music. So, all right, have a great day, everybody. Mwah! See you, bye, friends.